RASKIN, former Federal Reserve Governor and Deputy Treasury Secretary, Seth Carpenter, Chief Economist at UBS, Paul McCulley, former Chief Economist at PIMCO, and a CNBC contributor and senior markets commentator at CNBC, Mike Santoli, all with us. Sarah Raskin, I'll come to you first of all. I mean, clearly, as Sarah said, finding a new way to commit to not raising rates for any moment in the foreseeable future. But I guess that kind of recommitment to that point, perhaps less new or having less market impact than it did over the last couple of times.
Exactly right. So, there was a challenge here for the Fed because it has to take that new framework and it has to figure out how to move it into guidance and how to communicate it. And you could see, particularly in the press conference, you could see Chairman Powell having to explain it several different ways for the questioners. And he also took two dissents here, which I think he also probably had wished he hadn't, although he sort of wrapped it up in a nice bow, saying he loves having this diversity of thought. But you saw here an extensive markup, really, in terms of what the statement looks like, even though the action itself wasn't really news. There was quite a bit of a new red ink here on the FOMC statement, and then you saw really a first attempt to start to explain to the public what this means and exactly the extent to which there's going to be real change. And I think as a first attempt, it was okay, but you did see really a sense of a little bit of struggle here on what this means. And of course, there were two dissents.
Sarah, the other thing that stood out to me is clearly his support for more fiscal action. My sense is more fiscal support is likely needed. Again, he's said that before, but we are embroiled in this stalemate, basically, in Washington for more fiscal support. And I guess the question is, how much more can he do if Congress isn't going to do anything?
Exactly. And, I've heard him before give a more full-throated plea, really, for fiscal support. And you didn't hear it coming through as much this time. A sense of resignation a little bit. I think that, this is going to be what it is. The Fed may be the only game in town in terms of monetary and economic support going forward. And I think you did hear him say he thought there might be a deal. That is not certainly the consensus view at the moment. There is no deal in sight, as we sit here, and yet he clearly indicates that he would prefer there to be some kind of economic support. But you didn't hear him really push for it the way he has in the past. And of course, this puts the Fed in a particularly tough decision, because if the Fed is the only game in town and there is no future fiscal support, you're going to see the Fed continue to struggle with the need for more targeted assistance. And as you know, the Fed, that is not the strong point, the targeted assistance. That's really the fiscal set of tools. And so he's going to continue to get questions about the particular emergency lending facilities and why there isn't the amount of take-up that they would like to see with it. And he's going to continue, the Fed's going to continue to struggle with that if there is no future fiscal support.